Hey guys. Did you know? Girls play video games too. Go make me a sandwich.
Alright. So continuing on this lovely wolf. Let's continue sitting through me sharing my personal pain of this OC with the entirety of YouTube. If you didn't see the first part to this, it actually won't matter because she becomes an entirely different character. Not to say that the part 1 to this isn't really entertaining though. I had a hard time getting through editing because I kept wheezing over my own humor, if that says anything.
Not a phase, Mom, is my life. You can't just tell me that I'm not a real furry boy.
Nariko then heard a scream. Did you guys hear that? She asked her siblings. It's probably just the wind. Her brother and sister began coughing up blood and dust as the smoke engulfed all three of them. Anyhow, this one's gonna be a little bit shorter than the last, but bear with me. It's quality of cringe over quantity of cringe. I really don't know what clicked in my little kid brain, but I started reworking Nariko's entire existence after I got tired of her original story. I guess after I dropped the whole evil facility thing, Nariko gets tired of being edgy and retires from her life of pain and suffering. She suddenly gets over all of her trauma, gains unwolfly bodily autonomy, and suddenly gains knowledge of the internet. She becomes less of a cyborg, edgy wolf girl with a tragic backstory, neon colors, and dead parents, and more of an unhinged wolf gamer e-girl, still with neon colors, who's obsessed with YouTube and Minecraft. What a turn of event, folks. And I'm going to completely and very painfully out myself here, but kids be doing some wild things. So as painfully tragic as this is, I remember when I was like 13, I had little to no friends, and at the time, I had a major obsession with the YouTuber PewDiePie. I watched other gaming YouTubers later down the road, but for years straight I would only watch specifically his channel. I made everything from fanfics to fan art. If the fanfics wasn't already the icing on the cake, you'll be pretty amused to know that I would also make these lovely cringe edits that would say things like, "I love you, Pewds," and I would spam these posts on his social media. I would blast him full of the edited masterpieces. This is peak 2013 cringe right here. I know I wasn't alone in this, but... And of course, if you've been following any of my previous Let's reviews, you know that I just had to self-insert yet again. I made this glorious art in the process. Hence this wonderful, lovely picture in which Nariko is standing right next to him. I'm physically pained to sit here and talk about this, but I mean, we're already too deep in to kind of back out now, so just know that this gets immensely worse. This is your first and only warning. Okay, I'm gonna open it up by saying once Nariko and SHINATA escape the facility, at some point they go and live underground. I can't give you a timeline, sorry. And this underground was designed to look exactly like the inside of the game Amnesia. And this PewDiePie wolf character had a gaming lair set up down there. This honestly feels like a really bad fever dream looking back on it. And to even get this, I had to pull bits and pieces from a really old scrap notebook. But I was able to put together this wonderful story that has to top all of my other ones. Story time! As the two she-wolves ran for their lives, leaving the facility and their broken lives behind, they looked at each other and smiled. A tear slipped down SHINATA's face. She said, entering a cave to hide in. They walked for hours and hours down what seemed to be a never-ending hallway until they reached a large wooden door stained with blood and covered in scratches. "I wonder what this is," Nariko said, remembering back to the big metal doors that would lock them into rooms to fight with other dogs. A loud rumbling sound shook them in their fur. SHINATA gasped. Suddenly, the wall collapsed behind them. Dust and rocks and debris flooded the air. They were trapped. The reflection of the door handle shined in her eyes, and for a moment she became blind. She then saw the shadow of another wolf sneak out of the door, followed by a shiny golden shape.
"Come on, we have to go."
A voice came from the shadow. "Let's follow them!" Nariko screeched. More rocks fell to the ground and kicked up dust. They ran for hours down the tunnel. Suddenly, they heard a loud scream in the distance. It had to be the brown wolf that Nariko seen run out of the door just a little bit ago. Maybe he was in danger. They ran and saw the wolf hiding behind some rocks. They could see him more clearly now. His golden brown fur looked as if it were on fire. He was holding a lantern in his mouth and a pig next to him. He had black headphones on and a golden statue next to him.
Stefano, help.
He whimpered as a large figure of a monster came close to him. Without thinking, Nariko ran in front of the brown wolf. Her robotic eye and metal sides on her back started glowing a bright red, and her teeth pulled into a snarl. Wisps of salty red blood formed next to her as well. The creature in front of her had an open mouth and a bald head, like the humans from the facility, but also in a way unhuman. He was frightening, but she didn't care. The facility had ruined her sense of danger anyway. Under the control of Nariko, the monster started glowing red too, and she flung him across the room. She also sent blood bullets through the monster. He threw a large rock at her and it smashed her robotic eye. SHINATA then sent out purple and black flames at the creature and it ran off, gravely injured.
Are you okay?
SHINATA turned to the brown and gold wolf and ran over to him. Nariko followed, her eye bleeding.
I am thanks to you. Appreciate the help.
He was inches from Nariko's face, their noses nearly touching. She turned a beet red and turned away, and her heart jumped into her throat.
Let me hope you are alive. Name is Pewds, by the way.
The three of them followed Pewds to the same door that they saw earlier. Inside was 10 computers, 3 headsets, a good microphone, and a large webcam. He offered to let them stay with him in their own room, one door down from his. They crawled inside and went to sleep. One day, Nariko decided to go knock on Pewds' door. SHINATA was still asleep.
Would you like to film all video with me?
The brown wolf's eyes shone. Nariko nodded.
But first, you need a few things. But he can definitely help you out with that. Be right back.
He left and came back with a computer, keyboard, mouse, and a headset with a mic.
Practice with the first and then we'll continue. I'll play some games with you in the meantime. How does that sound?
A few days later, he helped Nariko set up her own gaming channel. It was called Insanity Wolf Gaming, and she played Minecraft, and it got 1,000 views on her very first try. Pewds hugged her.
Could I bero på you?
He asked, looking down. Heck yeah! Nariko exclaimed.
Right.
SHINATA yelped as she entered the room with a big camera.
We have it to catch, he's not recording.
And they then recorded the most epic moment in Wolf Gamer history. Let's take a moment to recover, because that was a lot. That was a lot. So I'll be honest, for some of this, I had to fill in the blanks because sentences were scratched out and there was half of a rip page and, you know, it just wasn't very legible. So I didn't really get the juicy middle part of the story in its original glory. So yeah, sorry, a lot of things don't really add up. Firstly, why would Nariko and SHINATA not be thoroughly freaked out by all of the electronics? And how in the world would they know what a computer was, or a headset, or a webcam? And I also don't know why I made him living inside of a replica of Amnesia. Why would he live there? But anyhow, I'm just not going to question it and save myself the headache. And I know he's actually never going to see this, but this is my formal apology to him and basically everybody seeing this. This absolutely haunts me and thankfully was the climax of my cringy OC making career. Ironically enough, I did make a YouTube channel back then called Insanity Wolf Gaming. I was back in middle school. I was wanting to make her what would essentially be a PNG tuber in current time. I made her super obsessed with playing Minecraft, and the whole goal being to get pewdiewolf back into playing Minecraft and they would share a channel together. I gave up on the dream after I realized Minecraft wasn't free. A couple more interesting things since we're on the topic already of early gaming YouTubers. In the back of my brain for years sat the memory of a PewDiePie fan page that I was really active on. It included a chat room, and I would often roleplay as Nariko, SHINATA, and pewdiewolf. I used the Wayback Machine to see if I could dig up any scraps left of the website, and to my surprise, it worked. To an extent. It's not in its original glory, but it has some of the images and chat logs from 2016, which is just a few years after I stopped using it. Oh, and one of the games I really wanted to play as her, which was the first game I wanted to stream, was The Last of Us, and I even made fan art to go along with it. It's really funny because I bragged in my descriptions on DeviantArt about having an Xbox, and I told everybody in person that the reason I couldn't play with anybody is that 1, I forgot my gamer tag, and 2, that it was broke. Absolutely pretended to love Call of Duty despite me knowing nothing about it. I suppose I just wanted to be a gamer girl. And as per usual, we're going to redesign her. I did give her a redesign in the previous part, but I just kind of remade her as a feral wolf. Since she basically becomes a whole nother character, I thought it would be fun to give her a second design. And for the specific remake, I decided to make Nariko a Discord moderator who barely sleeps and plays games for a living. She's a Twitch streamer. I only thought it was fair to do her justice and finally make her the gamer that she dreamed of being back in the day. Alright. Recording! Recording with the new headset. Meow. 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 The litter box is not a sandbox! I guess I'm blind because I need to zoom in to be able to read this. Oh no, my eyesight's getting bad. I'm getting old. A tear slipped down Here we go again. I'm going to get so frustrated editing this because I keep misspeaking.